Before we begin this week's episode of the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast, I want to tell you of a great guide that I made just for you. It's the 12 financial mistakes that keep physicians from building wealth. After talking to hundreds of physicians, I've heard many mistakes, and these are the ones that I thought were most important to share so that you can potentially avoid making these mistakes, or if you've already made them, learn a bit about how you might be able to recover. You can grab the guide at my website, www.growyourwealthymindset.com/12 financial mistakes. Now on to this week's episode. Hello, welcome to the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast, where it is all about helping amazing physicians just like you create a wealthy life free from burnout and with the financial security to practice medicine on your own terms. I'm your host, Dr. Elisa Zhang. Hello, and welcome back to the Grow Your Wealthy Mindset podcast. I'm so glad you're here today. This episode is part of our ongoing series on increasing happiness that comes from Dr. Sonja Lubormosky's book, The How of Happiness. This time, we're focusing on something we often forget to do: savor the present moment. Let's take a step back and reflect. How often have we believed that what really matters lies somewhere in the future? Think about our journey. In high school, our parents and teachers stressed the importance of doing well in school, as well as participating in extracurricular activities so that we could get into a good college. In college, we would work hard to get good grades, good MCAT scores, and great recommendation letters if we wanted to go to medical school. In medical school, we strove to shine in front of our attendings to get honors and secure recommendations to get into the residency of our choice. And then for some of us, it didn't stop there. We went on to fellowship training, or perhaps we looked to get a faculty position at a prestigious academic center. And now, even after years of sacrifice and dedication, many of us still spend more time thinking about tomorrow than truly being in today. How often have you sat with your family in the evening, physically present, but mentally already at work, planning for tomorrow? We've trained our minds to postpone happiness, always believing that the best is yet to come. And yes, looking ahead is part of goal setting and growth, but if we're not careful, we end up living our whole lives waiting for the future. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful ingredients of happiness is actually the ability to savor the present moment? Savoring means being aware of and appreciating the positive experiences in our lives, whether they're happening now, happened in the past, or are coming in the future. It's all about generating, intensifying, and prolonging enjoyment. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you have a terrible toothache. Then you finally get into the dentist and they're able to relieve the pain. The sense of relief makes you newly appreciate something you previously took for granted, just being pain-free. You don't need a serious illness or a dramatic life event in order to feel grateful or joyful. Sometimes it just takes a moment of awareness. Again, savoring can come in three forms: savoring the past, savoring the present, and savoring the future. When it comes to savoring the past, revisit your fond memories, like maybe when you got that first acceptance to medical school, or think back to your wedding day, or that amazing vacation. Reliving the past can bring you joy in the present. That's why experiences often bring more happiness than material things, because those experiences continue to give back to us when we reflect back on them. Savoring the present is about being fully there for the moment, whether you're having dinner with your family, reading a great book, or walking in nature. And then there's savoring the future. And that could be daydreaming about upcoming vacation, or the moment that you finally hit a major goal. I love traveling and I spend a lot of time planning my travel myself. And that travel planning allowing me to think about all the things that I'll get to do or see or experience, that brings me happiness at the present moment, as well as anticipating those experiences in the future. Sonja Lubormosky writes, researchers define savoring as any thought or behaviors capable of generating, intensifying, and prolonging enjoyment. Now let's talk about the distinction of savoring from flow. Flow, as we talked about in the last episode regarding happiness, is being totally immersed in an activity. Savoring, on the other hand, involves stepping outside the experience just a little to recognize how good it feels. But if you overanalyze or constantly ask, am I savoring it yet? you can end up pulling yourself out of the moment. So be intentional and don't overthink it. Studies have shown that people who savor regularly are more self-confident, less hopeless, and more likely to experience happiness. They're also more resilient, less likely to suffer from depression, and more optimistic about the future. So, how do we practice savoring? First, start small. Relish ordinary experiences. Really take the time to enjoy your morning coffee or a hot shower or the feeling of finishing a task. Instead of rushing to the next item on your to-do list, allow yourself to bask in a sense of accomplishment once in a while. When you find yourself having a pleasurable experience, try reflecting for a minute or two to make the pleasure last as long and as intensely as possible. Savor with others. Reminisce with family and friends. The pleasure of the moment can be increased when you share it with someone who also values the experience. Get out the photos taken at a prior vacation and look through them with someone who went with you on that vacation. Reminisce about the experiences you shared on that trip. You could also flip through a yearbook from high school or college with a friend from that time period. Consider opening your wedding album with your spouse. Reliving these experiences together deepens the joy. Researchers have found that mutual reminiscence, sharing memories with other people, is accompanied by abundant positive emotions like joy, accomplishment, and pride. You can also build your savoring muscle through guided imagery. Think of a positive memory, close your eyes, and walk yourself through all the details. What did you see? What did you hear? How did you feel? The more vividly you remember it, the greater the happiness boost. Another strategy can be to replay the happiest life events in your mind, like rewinding a video and watching it back. Think about all the events of the day and remember it in as much detail as you can. What exactly did you do? What did other people involved say or do? Who were the other people who were involved? What did they say or do? What were the thoughts and emotions running through your head at the time? Don't analyze the day, just replay it and revel in it. When something good happens, whether it's to you or a friend, celebrate it. Pat yourself on the back or pat someone else on the back. Share your wins with others. Don't downplay your joy. When your friend wins an honor, congratulate him or her and celebrate with them. Take the time to appreciate beauty. Allow yourself to truly admire a beautiful sunset or a display of talent. Strive to feel reverence and awe. Don't go through life wearing blinds to everything that is touching, beautiful, virtuous, and magnificent. Take pleasure in the senses. Focus on the sweetness of a ripe mango. Mango is my favorite fruit. Or the aroma of a bakery with its fresh bread. Feel the warmth of the sun when you step out from the shade. Close your eyes when you're listening to music and really take in the sounds. People who focus their attention on sensory experience of consuming chocolate reported more pleasure than those who are distracted from eating. This is another example from research where focusing and savoring on our senses can really improve pleasure. Practice being mindful. The practice of Zen Buddhism emphasizes learning one's mind and grounding oneself in the present moment. Consider practicing meditation. People high in mindfulness are more likely to be happy, optimistic, self-confident, and satisfied with their lives. They're also less likely to be depressed, angry, anxious, hostile, self-conscious, impulsive, or neurotic. Learning relaxation, paying attention to breathing through stretches and postures, becoming aware of bodily sensations, thoughts, and emotions is all part of being more mindful. Consider creating a savoring album. This could be on your phone, or it could be a physical photo book. Fill it with images and mementos that lift your spirit. You might include a love note or a drawing your child made. You could have pictures of your children or your pets or any other happy-inducing or meaningful image. Which brings us to savoring with your camera so that you have those images to savor. Many people take a lot of photos when traveling or during significant life celebrations to preserve that experience for the future. However, doing so can sometimes distract from the delight at the present moment, especially if we're being more concerned about observing and capturing the moment instead of actually experiencing the moment. If you find yourself doing this, teach yourself to use the camera in a way that enhances your ongoing experiences. Look at things and notice what is beautiful and meaningful. Don't try to create as many pictures as possible. Instead, try to take the best picture you know how and be mindful about the experience. I'm a real photography buff, and I do take a ton of pictures when I travel. I love looking at the pictures later, and sometimes wish that I had taken more pictures. I really do try to be mindful about what I'm seeing and what I want to capture and what I want to remember when I'm taking those photos, instead of just thinking I need to document every part of my trip. Another thing is don't shy away from bittersweet moments. A bittersweet experience is one that involves mixed emotions, usually happiness and sadness mixed together. Such events are usually characterized by the fact that they will soon come to an end. This often makes us more aware of what we're about to lose, which allows us to appreciate the time that we have left. Things that come up might be a child's upcoming graduation, or the end of a wonderful vacation, or the final day in a beloved home. I remember the last day when we were in my childhood home. We had actually bought the home I grew up in from my parents when I moved back to Cleveland for my MD PhD program. My husband continued to live in that home while I was in residency and fellowship, but then I took my first job as an attending in Virginia. And so we sold my childhood home, and it was really bittersweet because I loved my home, but I was on to new and better things, right? It was my first attending job. Sadly, we ended up moving back to Cleveland, so I do actually wish we never sold that house, but I do really like our current house too. Which brings us to the last exercise, waxing nostalgia. This is letting yourself reflect on the good times in the past, especially when you're feeling disconnected or low. Nurturing nostalgic feelings can make you feel warm about your past and bring back cherished memories. But do it mindfully, not as a comparison to the past, but as a celebration of the richness of your life. Remember, a flourishing life isn't just about setting goals for the future. It's about savoring what's happened right now, reflecting on where we've come from, and making the most out of every single day. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope this episode helps you slow down and appreciate the beauty in your life, even if it's just for a few minutes. If you found this helpful, please share this with a friend or leave a 5-star review. I'll be back next week with more insights to help you grow your wealthy mindset. Until next time, savor the moment. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could share it with your friends and colleagues. And now for the disclaimer. I am not a certified financial planner, accountant, or attorney, and nothing I say should be construed as professional investment, tax, or legal advice. This show is primarily for your education and entertainment. I am a physician, but I'm probably not your physician. So if you need any medical advice, please contact your own physician. Thank you. Don't forget to pick up your guide, 12 Financial Mistakes That Keep Physicians from Building Wealth. You can grab that guide at my website, www.growyourwealthymindset.com/12 financial mistakes. You'll also find that link in the show notes.